world of anime, some fights that are fueled by rivalry and vengeance are mostly one-on-one, but then there are group battles and clashes where entire factions, crews, or squads are thrown down in an all-out war. Today we're presenting you with some of the most adrenaline-pumping group versus group fights in anime.
昔の私と違って死体なら何でも人形にできるようになったんだよ。さあ、テーグ戦の始まりだ。何人死ぬかな。
Starting off this list with the epic group versus group battle from Akame ga Kill. This one is a perfect example of a well-executed group battle because it never feels like a collection of one-on-one duels. Night Raid has to work together to counter both Kurome's undead army and Ball's overwhelming firepower, making it a fight based on strategy rather than just raw strength. You see, Kurome has a creepy army of zombie warriors that just won't stay dead, and Ball's is basically a walking, talking flamethrower. But when Night Raid comes into the scene, everything shifts. Rather than engaging in predictable one-on-one fights, they have to constantly adapt, switching between offense and defense, covering for each other, and finding openings to land decisive blows. Let's talk about Joker and Benimaru's fight against assassins. Joker, the wild card, dodges attacks, throws razor-sharp cards, and messes with his opponent's minds, while Benimaru, a second and third gen pyro, operates on a different level entirely. Against him, the Holy Soul Temple's elite assassins, highly trained martial artists, are nothing more than fodder. His combat is smooth, his fire attacks hit with earth-shattering force, and he effortlessly dismantles his enemies like they're not even worth the effort. The sound design enhances the brutality with echoes and delayed impacts, making each hit feel even more disrespectful. By the end, Joker and Benimaru walk off like they just wrapped up an errand. No effort, no struggle, just overwhelming superiority. If Benimaru pulls up, you have two options: run or pray. If you've ever wondered what a battlefield full of delinquent teenagers with zero self-preservation looks like, well, this is it. Tokyo Manji Gang, Doman, led by the absolute menace that is Mikey, is going toe-to-toe with Valhalla, the gang literally known as the Headless Angels, which is ironic because they actually do have a leader. He's just so insane that they pretend he doesn't exist. From the very start, this fight is pure anarchy, but the real star of the show for this group battle is Takemichi. Dude doesn't throw the strongest punches, but his voice straight up buffs Doman's attack stats like a Dynasty Warriors morale boost. At its core, this fight is everything a great group battle should be. It's chaotic but strategic, emotional but action-packed, and every character gets a chance to shine. Whether you're here for the insane combat, the emotional gut punches, or just watching Mikey prove why he's the GOAT, Doman vs Valhalla delivers on every level.
我ら使徒なり、使徒の無念なり、我ら資格なり。地獄へと下り、背後をくぐって亡人を敷き。
Moving on, we have battle so ridiculous, so over the top, it makes every other holy war look lame. You see, London is burning, vampires are running rampant, and the Major's Nazi army is treating the city like their personal horror movie set. Just when things couldn't get crazier, Iscariot shows up, the Vatican's elite murder squad, led by the absolute menace that is Father Anderson. Their battle plan? Stab first, pray later. And oh boy, do they stab a lot. Anderson is flipping around like an anime John Wick with holy bayonets. Iscariot agents are turning vampires into Swiss cheese. And the Nazis? Well, they're loving every second of it because they're complete psychopaths. And just when the unholy war couldn't get any messier, Alucard decides to join in. Now, it's a three-way bloodbath where everyone is trying to out-crazy each other. If you're a vampire in Castlevania, life is already rough. The Belmonts have been gunning for your kind for centuries, and now Dracula's own son and a literal fire-wielding sorceress are in the mix? Yeah, you might want to rethink your life choices. That's exactly the nightmare these unlucky vampires walk into when Trevor Belmont, Alucard, and Cypher crash the party. And by crash, I mean completely obliterate every bloodsucker in the room. Reunited, they're such a badass trio. They knew what to do without even arguing or even speaking after they took down the wave of vampires that came through the front doors, and they know how not to hurt one another or others when fighting. Their teamwork is flawless. Their friendship, not so much, but we love that too. Something that I absolutely loved in this scene is that because we didn't hear the theme song the entire season, they decided to play it during this battle, which was awesome.
これは
Subaru and his squad roll up to the battlefield like they're about to drop the hardest album of the year. The witch cult's out here doing their usual creepy chanting and monologuing, thinking they're untouchable until Team Subaru kicks the door down. First up, got Ricardo, who straight up bites a sword like it's breakfast, proving once and for all that beastmen don't play around. Meanwhile, Julius is flexing his spirit arts, Garfield's going full beast mode, and Crush is still the definition of grace under pressure, even after taking a massive hit. Subaru, though, he's playing this like a chess match. It's like a classic your team versus the enemy team moment, except Team Subaru is struggling and the enemy team is way stronger than expected. It's peak battle, peak writing, and peak ReZero. Alright, let's talk about one of the most satisfying beatdowns in isekai history, Tempest versus Falmouth. So, Falmouth really thought they could roll up on Rimuru City, flex their little army, and walk away like they own the place. They saw a thriving nation of monsters living in peace and said, yeah, let's commit war crimes. Genius move. Have you ever seen karma hit so hard that it becomes a natural disaster? That's exactly what happened when Falmouth messed with the wrong nation. These guys thought they were tough, rolling in with their overpowered cheats, elite knights, and a squad of overconfident otherworlders. At first, it seemed like their plan was working. Tempest got blindsided, people died, and for a moment, the kingdom of monsters looked like it was on the ropes. But what exactly happened? The knights got humbled, the army got erased, and those lucky enough to survive never had to witness Rimuru's full wrath. Because if he really went all out, one punch would have lasted 266 hours in their head thanks to thought acceleration. Pure agony on repeat. At this point, if you see a scrawny dude standing alone in anime, run. And Falmouth? They didn't run fast enough.
無理な話か。面白い。てめえは
The League of Villains vs Heroes fight in My Hero Academia is straight up one of the best group battles in anime. Why? Because it's got everything. Intense action, insane stakes, and some of the most emotional moments in the series. First off, the matchups are wild. You've got Deku, Bakugo, and Todoroki going all out, while Shigaraki, Dabi, and Toga bring pure chaos. And it's not just about power. The fight's packed with strategy, teamwork, and serious character development. Shigaraki's glow up into an absolute menace, chilling. Twice's tragic moment, heartbreaking. Oh, and let's talk about the animation. Studio Bones delivered. Every punch, quirk, and explosion looks ridiculously good, but what really makes this fight special is the weight behind it. Bottom line, it's epic, emotional, and unforgettable. Peak My Hero Academia. Ever had an anime moment that gave you the chills? That second when Goku powers up, or Tanjiro draws his blade and you think, I need to capture this feeling forever. That's been my obsession, and I found the ultimate way to do it. Let me introduce you to the anime merch, a collector's paradise. We're talking insanely detailed figurines, LED lamps that set the perfect vibe, and shadow light boxes so immersive you'll feel like you're inside the anime. I just unboxed their Naruto figurine and my collection will never be the same. They've got everything. Naruto's Rasengan mid-action, Bleach battles frozen in time, Demon Slayer moments that'll have your friends asking, where did you get this? Even solo leveling before the hype explodes. Imagine this, midnight, your room, dark, except for the glow of Sasuke and Itachi's lightbox, shadows dancing on the walls. Or a Goku LED that pulses with energy, making your friends lose their minds. No cheap knockoffs, just collector-worthy pieces that belong in an art gallery. Use code VINI for 10% off your first haul. But hurry, the best pieces vanish fast. Your anime shrine isn't complete until you check out theanimemerch.com. Links in the description.
No.
自動操作オフ敵確認しました。
アンテナを
電源を切ります。
風次は右腕だね。
Moving on, we have a battle between some of the deadliest humans and some of the scariest monsters in the series. When Hunter x Hunter dropped the Phantom Troop versus Chimera Ants fight, fans knew they were in for something special. The York New City arc put the troop on ice for a while, but the Chimera Ant arc gave them a much-needed comeback. And wow, what a comeback it was. The spiders weren't here for world peace or some heroic mission, they were just pissed their turf got invaded and taking out the trash they did. Bonolenov, the guy most people barely remembered, suddenly pulled out a planet and crushed an ant into oblivion. But let's be real, Phaeton stole the show. The moment he activated Rising Sun, the other troop members were running for their lives. Even the way the troop fought was peak entertainment. Phantom Troop really is a force of nature.
奴らをやってしまえ。さあ行くぞ。カメハメハ。
Z Fighters vs Frieza's army was less of a battle and more of a flex session for Earth's warriors. Imagine rolling up to a fight thinking you've got the numbers advantage, only to realize you're just background characters in someone else's training montage. That's exactly what happened when Frieza's army pulled up to Earth, 1,000 soldiers deep, only to get washed by a handful of fighters who hadn't even gone all out yet. For the first time since the Cell Saga, we saw the whole squad throw hands together, and it was glorious. Master Roshi, the OG martial arts legend, stepped up in a way no one expected, powering up and blitzing enemies like it was Dragon Ball all over again. Tien showed off his underrated techniques, looking sharper than he had in ages. Piccolo? He was so casual about it. At one point, he was fighting with just his feet. Even Jaco, despite mostly running around, held his own better than expected. This fight made us love the Z Fighters once more. One Piece's Heart Pirates versus Blackbeard Pirates, the fight that had everyone sweating for Law's life. You know, for the longest time, everyone thought Law's crew was just a bunch of goofy side characters, comic relief pirates who relied on Law's OP abilities to survive. But this fight changed everything. Shachi and Penguin pulling off some insane water-based moves, Beppo going full Sulong mode, the Heart Pirates actually looking like a competent crew. Yeah, nobody saw that coming now, did they? But let's be real, the second Blackbeard pulled up, we knew all things were about to go south. The dude only fights when he has the upper hand. He caught Law right after Wano when he was already worn out and wasted no time going straight for the kill. And it's terrifying because beyond all his cheap shot tactics, Blackbeard is actually really strong. That one Gura Gura punch, it shattered Law's room like it was nothing. The moment he landed that hit, everyone went into chaos mode. At the end of the day, this fight was a statement. The Heart Pirates aren't a joke, but Blackbeard, he's a problem. And with 2 Devil Fruits, an army of dangerous crewmates, and the willingness to do literally anything to win, is only going to be harder to stop.
どれだけお膳立てされてもダメなやつはダメだ。切れ、首を切れ、大力切れだ。こいつ。俺の体の柔らかさを見くびったね。
Slicing its way into this list is one of the craziest, most visually stunning and straight up hype-inducing battles in Demon Slayer. Dengen Uzui, aka the most flamboyant Hashira, rolls up with Danjiro, Zenitsu and Inosuke to take down an upper moon demon. The problem? There's 2 of them. Daki, the creepy but beautiful obi-wielding demon, has been slicing people up while blending in as a top-class Oiran, but the real nightmare is Gyotaro, her big brother, who's been hiding inside her like some horror game jump scare. The moment he appears, it's clear this fight is about to be a whole different level of pain. At the end of the day, this fight was a masterpiece. I can't even begin to talk about the animation and how stunning it was. It's easily one of the best fights in anime history, no debate. Imagine you're Sung Jinwoo, the most broken shadow monarch in the making, and you just rolled up to a battlefield where a high-level ogre shaman is leading an entire army of orc monsters. Now, a normal hunter would see this and immediately start thinking about their last words, but Jinwoo, he's built differently. Instead of stressing, he calls in his own army, and not just any army, a literal squad of undead shadows that move like a perfectly coordinated esports team. We're talking Igris, his trusty knight who solos most hunters in his sleep, and Tank, a massive shadow-fanged beast that looks like he belongs in a kaiju movie. And let's not forget the other 100+ shadow soldiers, each one ready to throw hands on command. So after an epic fight, Tusk goes from being the enemy's strongest warrior to Jinwoo's personal magic nuke, and the army gets even more OP. What was supposed to be a battle turned into a recruitment drive.
Tomonari.
Finally, it's Yuji Itadori and Nobara Kugisaki, 2 of the coolest first years in Jujutsu Kaisen, and they're up against the cursed Womb brothers Eso and Kechizu. Now, these 2 cursed spirits, ugly as hell, nasty as hell, and dangerous as hell. They hit Yuji and Nobara with their rot technique, which is basically the most disgusting, you need a shower after this kind of curse you can imagine. If it spreads, it'll melt from the inside out. Not fun. One moment, we're vibing to the absolute banger of a soundtrack while Yuji and Nobara hit synchronized black flashes like it's some kind of cursed energy dance battle. Next, we're hit with the gut punch of realizing Yuji just unknowingly sent 2 of his brothers to the afterlife. This whole fight is a roller coaster. One minute you're hyped, the next you're sad, and then you're back to screaming about how insanely good the animation and music are. Jujutsu Kaisen really knows how to make you feel everything at once. That's a wrap for today. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up before you go. Take a look at this video if you're looking for something more. See you in the next one.